Designating the target as a threat in need of immediate intervention. Hunt authorized.
Monster Hunter Wilds is a busy game with a ton of action. You can break that routine by going fishing. Fishing in Monster Hunter is fairly simple, and yet the in-game guide doesn't seem to clearly explain everything. It's a very useful activity as it will give you a variety of ingredients for cooking that can allow you to customize the type of buffs you are getting from food. You will also earn guild points and crafting materials like fins or scales. In this guide, I'll show you how to complete every fishing side quest, get all 6 lures in the game, and earn all fishing related trophies. Let's go! You can start the fishing side quest by talking to Kanya at the Scarlet Forest base camp. She's at the back of the cave here, standing there and fishing, and that yellow marker is for side quests. This quest will be available super early on. It should appear right after the last boss fight in the forest finding quest in chapter 1. I'm trying to avoid any spoilers whatsoever here. She's the go-to NPC for the whole chain and she never moves. So that's where we'll come back for every step. Also, with every quest, she will give you the appropriate lure, and those are not consumables, so they're pretty convenient. If you have them, you can use them, and there's nothing more to it. There are 2 types of fishing, the basic and the advanced, let's say. We'll start with the basic, and further on in the quest line, we'll move to the advanced, and I'll explain both as we go along. Her first quest, Fishing Life in a Microcosm, couldn't be more basic. She simply wants you to catch a fish, any fish, and there's fish next to her in the pond. We'll take this opportunity to also explain basic fishing, which is super simple. You equip your fishing rod from the item bar, or if you have it assigned to a radial menu. I'm using a PlayStation controller here, so in my case, if I press L1, I can cycle through the lures with triangle and X. Then you can cast like it's a slinger, aim with L2, and throw with R2.
Key to fishing is patience.
You can move the lure left and right with the left analog stick to reposition. Or, to attract fish, you can just flick the analog stick down to slightly bob the lure in place. You can also slowly or quickly reel it in by tapping up and down. That's it. You keep doing that, the fish hooks, and you can see it in the water biting. You get this animation, you hit R2, and you reel it in for a catch.
Time for a true master angler to shine!
And that's the first quest. And if this was your first catch, you'll get the first trophy, angling for a bite. We go back to talk to Kanya, and after the dialogue ends, you can talk to her again right away to start the next step.
Hey, old fisher fellow. Are they biting today?
She will give us the appropriate lure and will tell us where to find such fish. She wants us to catch a golden fish, and they like the dark and quiet places. Now we're on Seeking the Golden Fish, the second quest. On the same map here in the forest, I know this is a cave in Zone 8, so I'll put a waypoint and ride up to it. We go under the waterfall here. Might as well set up camp here. Equip the fishing rod. We're catching a golden fish, so we equip golden bughead, which she has just given us. I just kept dragging to the left because I was visually looking for fish and I was about to give up, but this kind fellow was just too hungry. So he took the bait, R2, and I catch him.
Time for a true master angler to shine!
Now we go back to Kanya at the same place to turn in the quest. At this point, she will not give us any more quests. You have to progress to a certain point in the story to be able to carry on with a quest line. I'll blur the text here for spoilers, but basically you need to be at this point, which is after the long story, action and cutscenes at the end of chapter 3. So once you're at chapter 4 part 2, she will have the yellow marker up again and she will give us the next step.
Greetings. Fine weather for angling, hmm?
The quest is Fishing for Flavor, and you will need to catch a gravid bowfin. She will also tell you the conditions where that rare fish appears. You can go into your tent and go to this section, and you can choose to rest. This will allow you to change the environment and time. And for this one, we need to select Plenty and Daytime. Remember, this will cost you guild points. This type is pretty rare. I went to Iberia to get it, but at this point you might be locked out of Wyveria until further progress in the story. If you have to go there, you can start an optional quest that takes you to a monster there, and then you can go. Otherwise, I think you can also find it in the Windward Plains at the Oasis. I just had trouble finding it there, so I moved somewhere else. But that's just probably me. Anyway, in Wyveria, it's here.
Never got the hang of
We go under this rock.
I should look over there.
There's also another camp spot here. and that's the body of water we want. When you equip your rod, it kind of triggers the fish to spawn. So we equip it, and this time we'll use the emerald jitterbait. And this is the bad boy we're hoping to find. Because that type of fish is rare and you can't really control which fish bites, you might end up catching a few others before this one does. I was just lucky here that it was the first one to bite.
Oh, you snagged a rare one. The intrepid angler returns.
Now we go back to Kanya, turn in the quest. Did she just fart blue mist? What type of fish is she eating? We can talk to her again right away. And as I mentioned, there's two types of fishing. And we're now heading for the advanced fishing. And if you're finding this guide helpful so far, please remember to like and subscribe. This really helps out a small new channel like this one. And if you want to know the most essential settings you have to set in Monster Hunter Wilds, please check out the link above.
I speak, of course, of a Whopper.
She will ask us to catch a Whopper. That's any fish like the first quest, but a very big fish. And catching them is its own minigame, not just cast, bite and reel. And now we start the catch of a lifetime. There's a go-to place for Whoppers, and that's the Great Lake at Area 17 in the forest. And conveniently, there's a campsite here too, and that's one you really need to get, as it's right next to the water, and teleporting to it will save so much time whenever you want to do any fishing. And you can also change the time and conditions there if you're targeting different types of fish. From the campsite, if you turn left here and jump down, there it is, the Great Lake. You can see those pools of fish. Those will have all sorts of fish, both small ones and Whoppers, at any time of day or condition. I find it rude that those vultures are fishing in the same place, so I try to shoo them off. Now we can easily see a massive fish here. It's not hard to tell which is a Whopper. So that one, or something similar, is our target. Also remember, you can quickly and easily catch small fish with a net, but that will not count towards any progress in any of the previous quests, and obviously you can't catch a Whopper with a net. The general rule is for small fish, a slow reel will attract them, and for Whoppers, jigging seems to work a little bit better. Now let's look at the advanced fishing minigame for Whoppers. I'm going to use tough joint bait here, and we'll cast and do the same thing as before to attract the fish. Jig or bob or slow reel until they bite. Once they do, you need to keep an eye on them, and you don't want their movement to cut your line. So you drag your rod in the direction to control the line and wait for them to get tired. You can see I'm holding left with the fish, and also when they jump, you need to give them the line in that direction too. So in this case, it jumped away, so we tap up and then hit R2 after that to restrain them. All of this will tire the fish, and once the fish stops, your hunter will hold the rod up like this, and that's your cue to reel it in. So tap up and down quickly, as long as it's standing still. Once it starts moving, stop immediately and then repeat. Drag left and right, and when it stops, reel it in. Once it's close enough, we catch it, and that's the mini game. We got a chunky tuna this time. Now the second fishing trophy is to catch 29 more of these. Now we go back and report to Kanya. And after that quest is complete, she will once again stop talking to us and won't give us the last step until we progress a little further in the story. Again, avoiding spoilers here for the final part, we need to be on chapter 4, part 3. And now when we go to the base camp in the forest, she'll talk to us and give us the next part of the quest line. She will give us Razzle Dazzle, and for that quest we need to catch a Grandescunite. She's also given us the appropriate lure, the Tentacle Jig. This is a rare fish and it will only spawn in the forest. Your best options are areas 8, 12 or 17 by the lake. I'll go here to 12 and I'll set the condition to plenty and night. And we'll go here.
The water over there seems pretty deep.
I bet it's brimming with fish.
And the fact that it's nighttime make it so much easier to spot him. Very shiny and blue, and moves a bit slowly. We wiggle the lure in front of its tentacles, and it bites. And it's not even a Whopper, so there's no difficulty in catching it.
Time for a true master angler to shine!
Now we go back to report to Kanya, and now we finish the whole quest line. We also have all the lures in the game, so whatever you want to catch, you have the appropriate one for it. But there's one last thing to do. Now we need to get the final trophy or achievement. You can get it if you catch the Goliath squid. This is another rare fish exclusive to the forest, so we'll go again to the Grand Lake. And we'll look for this shiny big boy. This one is a Whopper, so it will resist. It's also only found at night. So we'll set the time and condition. We jump down to the lake, and we can see it here with its shiny back shimmering under the water. We play the minigame, and we catch the bad boy and get the rare achievement. I hope you found this guide helpful, and please remember to hit the like, sub, and ring the bell for more content like this. See you in the next video.